this video, I'll be making moi moi, but I'll be using a different method today. I'll be frying the sauce and I'll be adding gizzard. Have you had moi moi with gizzard before? It's so delicious. Let's get cooking. To start with, this is the beans. I've already peeled these beans. I have another video where I showed how to peel your beans easily with the blender, and I also have another video where I use my hands. If you prefer your hands, some say it's therapeutic to use their hands to wash the beans. Then I have the bell peppers. It's commonly known here as tatashi, and I've removed the seeds. The seeds will give it a somewhat bitter taste. This will add a lot of colors to your moi moi. I don't usually add artificial colors. This will add a lot of colors. And I have the gizzard and the crayfish. Please check if your crayfish has any sand. Otherwise, you'll have to wash it so that you wouldn't have sands in your moi moi. So let's go ahead and season the gizzard. So I add the gizzard into my pan. You can also use any protein of your choice. You can use chicken, you can use fish. You can also use eggs or skip any of the proteins and just make the moi moi as you wish. Now I'll add in a little salt. When you're making moi moi, be careful with your salt, because with too much salt, you will not like it at all. I'll add in some chicken seasoning. I'll mix this in properly so that the gizzard can combine with the seasoning and the salt. Then I'll put on the heat on medium heat and I will allow it sizzling for 5 minutes. As we wait for the gizzard to sizzle in, let's prepare the sauce mix. This is the onions. I'll cut it into the blender. Moi moi requires lots of onions to give it that unique taste. Then the bell peppers, the real bell peppers, I'll slice it also into the blender. This is not as spicy as the normal peppers, so you can use as much peppers as you can bear. If you want it extra spicy, you can add in the ordinary peppers also, but my family doesn't eat a lot of peppers, so this will be enough for us. Then I'll add in the crayfish. You can skip this if you don't like crayfish, but crayfish also gives a unique taste to moi moi. I'll add in just a little water. I'll blend this till it's smooth. The peppers and crayfish and the onion, here is my texture. This is 5 minutes later. I give the gizzard a stir. The water has dried out. The aim is to stir fry this with the peppers so that the flavors of this gizzard will infuse into our sauce. Now I'll add in vegetable oil. I'll mix this in. Give it about 2 minutes to sizzle in. 2 minutes later, I add in the blended mix. You see, it doesn't have a lot of water. Now mix this in properly. We'll be stir frying this for 10 minutes till this pepper dries. This is sizzling well. We'll have to fry this till the oil start rising to the top. That's a sign to show you that the peppers are fried well enough. This is about 10 minutes. You see this oil coming up. That's to tell you that the stew is almost dry. I'll give it another stir. Now I'll add in more seasoning powder. You can use seasoning cubes. I also add in a little salt. and I'll give this a stir. I always say that your seasoning and your salt should be proportional to the quantity of food you're cooking. If you're not sure, you add in little per time and adjust as you cook along. I'll have this mixed properly in. I'll add in little nutmeg powder. This is optional. If you don't like nutmeg, you might have to skip this, but little nutmeg in your moi moi recipe gives it a very unique taste also. If you notice, there is not much oil in this because I don't want the moi moi dripping with oil, if you know what I mean. I'll go ahead and check the salt and the seasoning if it's okay. Mine came out perfect. You can go ahead and adjust yours if need be. Through this process of frying the peppers, please keep an eye on it so that it doesn't burn, so that you wouldn't have a black looking moi moi at the end of the day. Have you tried this recipe before, or would you be trying it? Please let me know in the comment section what you think about it. My sauce is ready now. I'll put off the heat and allow it to cool a bit. Let's go ahead and blend the beans. To blend the beans, you need a high capacity blender. You can also blend it outside if you don't have a heavy duty blender at home. Now I've washed the beans, and if you observe, it's still in water. This will help the beans to go softer as you're preparing the sauce and other things. I pour it into the blender. I'm going to be blending this in bits. I wouldn't be blending everything at once. I'll add in a little water. Please note that once you blend your beans, you're ready to have it on heat. Once you blend the beans, it starts fermenting, and you can't stop it except you add a piece of charcoal in it so that it doesn't go sour. I'll blend this till it's very smooth. This is the consistency we are looking for moi moi. For akara, it shouldn't be as watery as this, but you know moi moi will still rise. If it's thicker than this, it will be too heavy. Here is our blended beans, and you see our consistency. I'm already preheating the water in the pot because after mixing it, I have to put the moi moi into an already boiling water. Now I'll add in our sauce into this blended moi moi, and I'll mix it in to combine. This is where it will get that beautiful color from. I've mixed this in well enough. It's all well combined now. Please note that if you need to add in water, it must be warm water, because beans, when blended, doesn't really like cold water. This is also your final point to taste for your salt and adjust if need be. At the long run, beans doesn't require lots of salt, so be careful if you need to add more. These are my moi moi cups. Let me go ahead and fill it up with the moi moi batter. If you observe, I didn't fill this to the brim because this will rise while it's cooking. Now I'll cover them and send them into the pot with the already boiling water. I'll be cooking this with 2 pots because one pot won't contain all my moi moi cups. The water is already boiling. Gently drop it in. The water in here is like a glass and half cup of water. So I'll cover it with a foil. This will help sealing all the moisture without any of it escaping. I'll cover the lid and allow it to cook for 40 minutes. Within the 40 minutes, occasionally you can check if the water is still there or dried up, and you will need to top it a little bit. This is 40 minutes cooking this on medium heat. I can already perceive the aroma of the moi moi. You gently open it up because a lot of steam will come up. Like I told you, the moi moi has risen. You can see how it has risen. Please, you might not have to use your hands. I insert a fork to check if it's cooked well from the under, and it glides through. This is telling me that the moi moi is ready. Let's take it off from the heat. Our moi moi is ready and it's sure so delicious. You can see the extra I have here. Please like this video. Please also share this video. That will encourage me to create more content like this. I hope you make this. It's so delicious. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.